milkshake. I drink it up!
Donnie!
Yeah?
Guy's German here wants to die for country. Oblige him.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hell, I can get you towed by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish.
We have you 4-1.
I like those odds.
It's the Smoking Hot Nerds Podcast.
Yeah. Where am I going? Oh, yeah, and then there was the reboot of RoboCop,
Yeah.
which was like boring, even though they had Michael Keaton
Whoa.
was the bad guy.
Oh, that's
And
right.
he didn't get to be awesome.
That's
It
right.
was all subdued and boring, and I was like, why do you make a RoboCop reboot and you don't go balls to the wall
Yeah.
with satire?
That's an interesting time of life, of the reboot life, where they were coming out with all kinds of reboots and nothing was working. It's kind of like our technology.
They said, it's a great idea, but we don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what's happening. We're gonna pause for a second, and we're gonna restart the entire podcast because
none of this happened.
Something happened with the Facebook thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's not live videoing.
We're not live.
So let's try it again, and we'll hop over to. So if you're over on the YouTube, hello and welcome. But we're gonna restart the live stream over here. Go live now. Okay, let's do another title: Nerds After Dark. Sponsored by Zima.
The PP edition.
The PP. I'm gonna put that actually. Never mind. The PP edition. Tonight. Whoops. There we go. What should we say? Something clever. Tonight, Eric and Matt lead the way during a long, dark tech winter for Nico and Brian. Brian, two life. What's the two downtrodden hobbits?
Yep. Their quest taking them on an arduous, dangerous journey.
Stop in and listen
hazards.
to the nonsense. Boom! Exclamation point. I wonder if... Oh, I don't think we need a thumbnail. Should we just go live? Now, why is it not letting me say go live? Oh, here we go. Use persistent stream key. Good. Okay, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Here we go. We're gonna do another intro. Wait, why don't you... Okay, hang on. The PP edition. Go live. Going live. Here we go. It's the Smoking Hot Nerds podcast. There it is. And we're up. There we go. Welcome to the Smoking Hot Nerds podcast. Times 2.
I mean, first time's a charm.
One time is a charm. We got 5 playbacks going on. So the first 10 minutes also did not have audio because I forgot to turn the microphones back on.
Oh, that's great.
Because sometimes I keep them off so that people can't hear us while the countdown's happening. Mm-hmm. And then I looked down and we were talking about RoboCop and I was like, this is a fun conversation. But of course, said fun conversation was not in the
it's fine.
mix. Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
Somewhere Peter Weller's going, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, anyways, folks, welcome to Smoking Hot Nerds podcast. It's just old Eric and I tonight. Nico and Brian are having some issues technologically, and so I'm going to hop over here to the Facebook machine and make sure that it's working. And I think that
They didn't get kidnapped by robots. I know what all the comments are going to be, but that's definitely
not happening. Unfortunately, they were not.
And tonight, Nico and Brian are having
how do we do that?
issues technologically.
There we go. Everyone's having issues technologically tonight, including myself. So
this is like,
there we go.
I had a virtual date, the first one, and I was like, I had to run Zoom, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, awesome. It's a great way to start a date, is looking like a grandpa.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, right. Was she like 24, and you're like, it's okay. I'm not quite a boomer.
No, she was 29.
Oh, perfect. Even better. That's fine. You were a young and incredibly devilishly handsome 41-year-old. So you got this. Crush. How did it go? Was it a good one?
No.
No.
It was fine. I don't know.
Well, it's a tough one. I mean, we've become very good with, Zooming and all that stuff kind of culturally, but, us in terms of how to interact with people on Zoom. But I've never done a first-time conversation. Well, yeah, I guess I have had first-time conversations, but never had a first date over Zoom. Was it awkward?
It was okay. It was okay. Actually, the date itself was fine. It was fine. Yeah.
Did you guys drinking and smoking?
I drank.
Yeah.
She did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. She just put Iron
I
Man
just
up her butt.
pounded them endlessly.
Yeah, yeah.
I had one of those beer helmets on, and apparently, I guess that's faux
That's weird.
pas.
Yeah.
Because I said, "Oh, it's video." I thought this was audio only.
Right. I only wear my crazy beer hat if it's audio only.
I try to have at least enough respect.
Yeah.
Only
just a
wear
little
it
bit.
during audio dates.
Does she know about our podcast? Would she come and listen to our podcast? Did you ask
She
her?
did ask,
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't give out any info. I said,
Yeah.
I do podcasts, I do this, that, and the other thing.
Look, we can use all the...
She's like, I want to have kids. I was like, well, all right.
All right.
Good night, Cleveland.
Yeah. That's off the table for you, huh? Completely?
Well, what I told her was like, I just haven't been with someone that I want to have kids with.
Right.
Doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I met the right person, that I go, oh man, yeah, sure.
Yeah. She say it's kind of hard over Zoom. Zip.
Zing.
There was none of that.
No.
Yeah.
No funny business via Zoom.
Was this a Bumble lady?
Yeah, I was a bumbler.
Yeah. Nice.
But it is funny. After this one, I was like, I killed the app. I was like, you know
Really?
what? Taking a break. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. You deleted the app and everything, or did you just hide it?
I killed it.
Wow. So you deleted your profile and everything?
I deleted all my stuff, and then I deleted the profile.
Mm-hmm.
And then because in the past I've been like, I'm gonna take a break, and you uninstall, and that doesn't change anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Because your stuff still lives there if you go back in. Oh, nice.
But now I put up a picture of I still feel like it'll still exist somehow.
Yeah.
But it's if someone sees it, it's my name with the Count from Sesame Street, and that's all.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I was
great.
like, I'm just gonna put up the Count, and frankly, I should just do pictures of the Count for my profile. I
May as well. Maybe you could just do. You could do some.
I'd
maybe,
love to count to 10.
was he a
various
character in
ways.
your? Was he a character in the Castaway thing or not?
No.
So I was gonna say that would be fun just to use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do any Sesame Street specific characters.
Okay.
They were all Muppet,
Yeah.
original Muppet
Gotcha.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd be good.
Yeah.
One plane crashing. Yeah.
One pilot dead.
One brain hemorrhage.
It's a 1 a tennis ball, a 2 a football. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Well, so that's good. I mean, taking a break, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, what I've learned is when I don't try, then if something's going to happen, it only happens when I'm not trying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my
usually
reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's usually the case. But I think that's reality in general when it comes to like quote unquote good things. You know, it kind of happen when they're, when you're not thinking about it, when you're not expecting it. I mean, it happened for me. I had stopped dating completely and stopped. And it wasn't that I that I was like, the possibility's not there. I just said, possibility's there, fine. And if it happens, it happens, and mostly just kind of really dialed in on myself and what I wanted. And lo and behold, here comes someone who's, perfect for me. So I think that's just kind of how it happens, Yeah. Cilantro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So take your time. In the meantime, look at all the toys you got. You're good.
True.
Yeah.
True.
You're good.
I make out with at least half of them. I won't tell you which half.
Well, hopefully the ones that have not been inside of you.
Let's just say Gonzo's nose is worn out. That's why it looks
Right.
the way it looks.
Right. That's why it's curved and more bleached than the rest of him.
When I bought him, it was
He was a rare straight-nosed Gonzo.
That's why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
In the Muppets, is he's had to go through some things.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. But I think we love each other.
We were all sorry. Well, it's love. It's a version of love. It's the Stockholm Syndrome. Is that what they call that? You fall in love with your captor? Or is that Florence Nightingale?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're correct.
Yeah. Is there a
Yeah.
Florence Nightingale
The English
syndrome?
patient. Yeah, but is that the nurse falling in love with the patient?
I don't know.
What's that?
Yeah, maybe.
don't know.
It feels like if there was a syndrome for falling in love with the nurse, that one doesn't seem like it should be a syndrome. That's just a thing that happens. You know, usually when you're in the hospital, you're not wearing much clothes, and she's the only real human contact you get.
She's half mommy, but she's not mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys go, and the
Right.
guys fall in love with that.
Yeah, it's
They
great.
go, mommy, but not mommy.
Yeah.
I love you.
I want mommy, not mommy. What do we got here? We got Nico saying sorry. Oh, don't worry, Nico. Don't you worry your little hearts. Hearts, not heaters. Hearts. We'll miss you both. Also, you're fired. Just kidding. I didn't write that.
Go.
But they're both fired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was time.
Yeah.
We just needed that straw in the camel's back.
Yeah.
They've both been asking for it.
The tech that broke the podcast's back.
And now here we are.
Here we are.
Barely nerds.
Yeah. Now it's
We're
just
almost nerd after dark.
yeah. It's not even. It's definitely not smoke. It's like more like nerdy ass douchebags after dark.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we got going on now. So
We're the douchebag half. And if we don't get that other half back,
yeah. We need the calm, collected,
Smoking hot
smart.
douches.
Yeah. That sounds like a reason to go see Mommy Nurse if you're
Yeah.
having one of those. Yeah. Well, it's been a.
mommy nurse.
Well, guess what it's doing outside right now? It's snowing like a crazy person right now. Yeah. I mean, probably got like at
think-
least an inch and a half in the last like 2 hours.
How much are you supposed to get?
I don't know. It was saying something like 4 inches. It's like that's bonkers.
You guys have been hit this winter.
It's gonna be good though because I think it's
That
real
moisture
brown
is
still.
gonna be great.
Yeah, it's what everybody says. It's cute. It's like a thing, you know. We need the moisture for the farmers. It's like, no, we know how it works out here. It's real dry.
Yeah, because when I grew up and we were farming, it
Yep.
didn't rain
Yeah, it didn't rain.
for like 15 years. I
Yeah.
feel.
I know.
Like 15 years, it didn't rain.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, maybe we're going to go fishing this weekend. Well, it didn't rain again, so...
Mm-hmm.
And I was like little kid Michael Blue. No, I wasn't that bad. I'd just be like, no, I gotta
Yeah.
shovel again. Cool.
So if you're planning on going fishing, what did you have to do instead? Go out and irrigate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep irrigating and shoveling. I just shoveled a lot.
What did you shovel?
Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rows, the corn rows.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
up against the ditch bank.
Now, did you
cleaned up
guys
the
have the tubes that you had to like use the suction and pull them over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah.
So my mom used to tell me all about that when she was a kid. That's how they irrigated their fields.
Yeah, I want to put those in a movie because I've never seen them in a movie, and people
You're
I
right.
think would be blown away if
Yeah.
they saw that in a movie. They'd be
Yeah.
like, "What the hell's happening?"
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out the physics of how that works.
You know,
What's
siphoning
going
them.
on?
Yeah.
Do you suck it up?
You just create. I would do it wrong.
Yeah.
I ate so many accidental carp.
Frogs, crawdads, you name it.
Oh, crawdads, yeah, all day. Yeah, you're just creating suction.
Yeah.
So, okay, for people that don't know, you have these little ditches going into corn rows. That was what old irrigation was for decades. You know, like, I don't know, 50s, 60s through to 2000 maybe. Before
Yeah.
everyone got big pivot systems, the big sprinklers. Now, when you fly in a plane, all you see is circles. You know, when you see corn fields, nobody's irrigating anymore. They don't have to.
That's
But-
fascinating because I just did a gig for an insurance company, or sorry, realty company, but they have like a farmland guy, and he was showing me this aerial view of pretty much all of northeastern Colorado, and it was just all circles, which for some reason in my mind that just seemed normal, but I didn't realize you're right. It used to be rows for the irrigation, and now it's all for sprinklers, circles. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah, they've
continue.
all. And two, what changed from when I was a kid to now, certainly, and even when I was, I don't know, when we were like in our 20s, went from, you know, people still had their single plot land, a house with maybe 40 acres, and they would farm it, and that was their life, to maybe they had two, you know, like 60 acres or something they took care of, or 80.
Yeah.
Now it's, you know, one guy taking care of thousands of acres.
Hmm.
And so I think, you know, when it was just single plot farmers,
Yeah.
the corners, every single inch mattered.
Right.
But now it's like when there's guys that are doing so much land, it's like as long as the pivot system's working,
Yeah.
who
Don't
cares
care about the corners. Yeah.
Maybe some of them will flood irrigate it.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. And they don't, because you just see circles now.
Yeah. The corners are usually pretty dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're dead. Who cares?
Yeah. So, anyways, there's
but-
rows.
So there's corn rows from the tractor. You know, everyone's seen that, I feel. And so you have these little ditches running that the rows connect to. And so there's this little mound, you know, this little ditch. And so you had tubes of different diameter, and you would put them in the water, and as you pulled them up from the water, not all the way out, you would cup your hand over it as you pulled it up, and that would create suction. So
Gotcha.
you just thum, thum, and that's what you'd hear, the thum, thum,
Uh-huh.
and you slap it down on the ground, and water just come out.
Yeah.
As long as nothing blocked that tube, it would run for 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just do, you know, just drop like 80, 100 tubes,
Yeah.
depending on how big they were.
Yeah. Wow.
Depending how sandy your land was and how much water you had to force down it, or
Yeah.
how many prairie dogs were
Yeah.
destroying, digging holes. Yeah.
So were the tubes that you were doing that? So you got the irrigation ditch, which almost always is running along the highway, the road, and then you're
Yeah,
pulling the
it's
water over,
perpendicular or parallel with roads. Yeah.
and then you're pulling the water from the ditch, or was there rows that the ditch was
Yeah.
feeding?
So there's a ditch system that's like runoff from the mountains, and it comes down, maybe goes through reservoirs. And so by the time it gets to us, there's a ditch system, and there are ditch riders, which me and my dad did for a while, where you parcel out the water, you make sure the ditch is clean, and you have to put up with farmers complaining that they don't have enough water.
Sure.
So yeah, there's a big ditch system. It funnels off. Everyone gets their own little bits of water, and it, you know, channels around into their individual ditches.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And then so the water would come down, and if you're at like the top of the field, you have to stop. You need that water to pile up, so you have
Right.
to make a little dam. So we'd have canvas with a 2x4 running through it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like sewn around it, and you'd throw that down, and then you'd shovel the canvas in to create a dam,
Wow.
and then you had the water, you know, piled up where you want it, and then you put in the tubes,
Yeah. Wow.
so you had the water pressure. It's very rudimentary, but
Yeah.
fun and cool. And I
It
feel
works.
Like if like city kids saw that, they'd be like, "What the hell is
Yeah.
this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or pretty much any kid who lives here anymore, because no one knows what farming is.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, even kids that live in the middle of nowhere have no clue because only 5 people are farming all of it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That was actually the guy who I talked to. Like, his basic job is essentially, you know, like if your parents, you know, were selling or didn't want to sell their farm, but they wanted to just rent it out. He manages that and manages everything. So he finds the people to farm it and people to live on the land and yada, yada. So it's a lot of stuff.
Is he getting transplants coming in wanting to live in the country? And they're like, oh, we also bought this land, but we don't know.
To a certain extent, yeah. And then so they'll live on the property, but then hire people to farm it, basically. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. But yeah, no one knows what the thing is. I don't even know. But anyways, we're getting lots of snow. It's going to be good for the moisture, good for the farms. It's going to be great
for moisture.
Yeah, it's going to make everything. I was really hoping, I'm doing this big, beautiful house, real estate video for this house.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got this gorgeous landscaping, but everything looks like garbage right now. It's like the worst. It's like, so I'm not doing it until, yeah. The 26th is when I'm shooting it. So I'm like hoping that that means we get some good snow between now and.
Signs of life or blooming yet?
Yes,
we are.
Yeah,
okay.
Things have got buds on them, and the grass is getting greenish. So, yeah, we'll be in good shape pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
No, what was my story is at the costume shop years ago. I was like, we need to do an Easter shoot with people dressed in our bunny costumes at the Boston Common. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I didn't think, or the person doing the photos didn't think, that to do an Easter photo shoot before Easter means that everything looks like a graveyard.
Right, yeah.
So we took these people in bunny costumes and went to the Boston Common, and it never had looked drearier. Because in my mind going there, I don't know how stupid I was. Why did I think it would be green? It was like March.
Yeah.
But when you want to go there and think it's going to be like May, and it isn't, oh man.
Yeah. It's bad.
It was so
bad. That's why you got to do the Easter shoots in like summertime.
The year before.
Yeah, do the Christmas shoots in February or March or whatever. Yeah, and do all that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
It's so funny. It's just, major amateur move, but very funny.
Yeah. So did you just make them look like sad bunnies?
I think we just had to Photoshop or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Even the day was dreary. It wasn't even sunny. So it's like,
yeah.
Even Mother Nature in every way was like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And no.
Hey, so screw you. Yeah. I think every single real estate shoot I've done so far, with the exception of one, with the exception of just one, were all just like the worst days ever. And it's not one of those things where, we're not selling a $15 million house here, so it's not like conditions have to be perfect. And everything's selling like crazy anyway. So,
because there's no
matter.
Inventory.
Yeah, new inventory. So, I just put it up there, and like the last one I did is just some land and stuff. And it just looked like garbage. It was terrible. But
you just do close-ups of dried up cow patties.
Yeah.
It's like 15 hours later, sold.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, just did
sold for 30,000 over asking.
At least. Yeah, at least. There's some friend or one of my brother's friends from high school's parents are moving, and so I shot their house, got the video up, and 2 days later they had 3 over asking price offers. So it was just like, okay, well, there we go. Yeah, I know it's nuts.
Yeah. I'm just finally starting to look into condos. Like, could I in this area? Like, what? How terrible of a neighborhood. And even I could pick the worst neighborhood, and I'm still like,
Yeah, I know.
Is this going to change?
Yeah.
There's some places that have been sitting for like half a year.
Oh, really? Really?
Some of them have come down a little bit, but they're still, I'm just like, can we just get back to 2018 prices? That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Like looking at the history of all these places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's like 2018, and then it's just like, pandemic. We don't care.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they need to have a home right now.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. Even
the government stopped whatever would have been.
for sure. What year was it? Like, so 2015-ish was the last time I was looking for a place in LA, and even then, like, prices were like so crazy.
Was that just rent, or were
Yeah,
you
just renting. Yeah, and that was just renting, and it was like, because I remember looking for the place, and it was like, I mean, Compton could be nice, right? Like, it was like that, like looking anywhere and just saying, no, I mean, we could make it work in Inglewood. Let's just try it out. And it's like, I mean, there's no grocery stores or general safety, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But the rent, we'll save ourselves $300 a month. It'll be great.
Just run to my car.
Yeah.
And
Right.
get
Mace
tinted
in one
windows.
hand and Billy Club in the other. It'll be great. It'll be just fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's crazy. It just keeps on going too.
Yeah, and well, because now there's moratoriums and forbearance and all these things. So yeah, people can just go, oh, I would have failed.
Yeah.
But now I can
But I
just write
didn't.
it out and make the 20 years I had left on my mortgage 40 years, whatever.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of like keeping the bear pregnant. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing.
If pregnant female bears are like chill, then
Yeah. Right. It's better than a pregnant male bear, I'll tell you that. You never know.
they are very confused. You don't want to sneak up on a pregnant male.
No.
They're like, I don't know what's happening. And you're
Right.
like, oh God, do I have to, hey, how's it going, guy?
Yeah.
Now I'm in a
Constipated.
3-hour conversation with a pregnant grizzly male.
Ugh. Never been so bored in my life.
And then there's like always female grizzlies behind him going, oh, really? It's being pregnant. Does it suck?
Oh, welcome to
like-
being me. Yeah.
Welcome to being a chick, dude. Yeah.
Tell me more about being pregnant.
Did you watch that Schwarzenegger movie where he's pregnant with
Oh.
Emma Thompson?
No.
I think Ivan Reitman made it.
Yeah, Mr. Mom? No,
Junior?
that was Junior. That's
Is it Junior?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is.
Mr. Mom was Michael Keaton, right?
Yes.
Let me see here. We got Arnold pregnant movie, because I don't want to try to spell Schwarzenegger.
Ivan Reitman.
Junior, correct.
1992?
1994.
No, it's later.
4.
Yeah.
So close. Yeah.
I knew it was later.
But you got
after I
Ivan
said that.
Reitman. Guess how much the budget was, and guess how much the box office was.
35 million budget,
Okay.
150 gross.
Wow. Well, you were close-ish. It was 60 million budget, 108 million box office.
So a little worse on both directions.
That surprises me that it didn't do better.
I can't believe that people didn't want to watch a Schwarzenegger movie where he's pregnant. Who wants to watch the Terminator?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Have a baby. Yeah, that's like record scratch central.
Like, no, we're good.
I don't know. Did Ivan Reitman do anything after that movie, or was that his?
He died. Yeah, that was no.
I think
He
that
did.
Was it.
No, did he
No,
really?
he had to have. I bet he did something.
Come on, let's see. I thought he's still alive.
He did Little Monsters 4. He's still alive.
Oh, you mean just like, has he done any
Like,
movies?
did a thing. I feel like that was kind of his last. He did Twins, right?
Yeah.
I think he did Twins,
Let's see here.
which was good.
Well, so as far as directing, because producing, he's been producing like crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously,
so he moved to
'cause-
producing. Yeah.
Yeah, he just moved producing. Because didn't he direct the one that we just did the thing on, Draft Day? I think he directed Draft Day.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
Did he?
He totally directed Draft.
Yeah, he did draft.
And
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
And I was even like, oh, he did that.
Yeah. Although that
'Cause
was
that
his
was,
last movie, though, that he's directed.
2000. But had he done much in between, I guess?
So Junior was 94. Oh, he did Dave. Dave is a delightful movie. That's a good one.
Right.
Kindergarten
It's
Cop.
late 90s.
Yep. Twins. You are correct.
What's that? 96?
So see, your Kindergarten Cop 90. Dave was 1993.
Oh, that
And
was
then
before.
Junior was 94. And then he did 6 Days, 7 Nights in 98. Evolution, Cooking Lessons, whatever that is. My Super Ex-Girlfriend. My Super Ex-Girlfriend. Who was in that? That one was something. Oh, that's right. It was Uma and Luke Wilson. That's right. So I remember that movie did terribly.
Uma?
Uma.
Oprah.
Uma.
Uma? Oprah. For that Oscars.
No.
With Letterman when Dave did the Oscars and it did not
I
work.
don't remember that.
It
I
did not
wish.
work.
Yeah. Who's doing the Oscars this year?
Do they even have a host anymore? I think they just dropped it.
Did they just decide to just like have Zoom hosts? Yeah.
I don't know.
That old chestnut.
Did you see there was a thing where Bill Burr hosted like the Latin Grammys or something?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
It was the Grammys, but it was like the Latin
Yeah.
portion
the
of the
Latin
Grammys.
Gram.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious.
And he didn't know, and he couldn't pronounce anything, and
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't even trying to be an asshole, but he just came off like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And some people were trying to be like, "We need to cancel him," and everyone else
Yeah.
was like, "I don't think anyone cares."
Yeah.
I think he genuinely just doesn't know. He said yes to something, and then he regretted it.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
It was so, and he wasn't even trying to not. It wasn't like he was not trying to not be offensive, but he also wasn't trying to be offensive. He was just like, "I'm gonna say what's coming out of this mouth hole, and you guys are gonna have to live with it because I don't know what I'm talking about." And it
Right.
was pretty funny. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's calculated when he wants to ruffle feathers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that I think when people were trying to be like, "Oh, it's a big deal," it's like, no,
No.
he genuinely didn't do his homework.
Yeah.
Went, what did I agree to? Oh my God, I have to pronounce this name. I'm some dumb white guy from Massachusetts. Oops.
Which he was okay with kind of admitting and saying, and he was just like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing."
Because
Here.
even the people, like, you could see as they were. I watched like a supercut where it was just him, and then just the beginning of a speech.
Yeah.
And the people were like, "Ha, ha, 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 it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I won."
Yeah.
They don't care. You know,
I mean, there's just an unbelievable number of people that they could have had do that, you know. So, in my opinion,
So
something
many.
like that is a failure on the part of the Grammys to not get an appropriate person to do that.
it's them saying we're making a choice, and so if you're going to blame someone, you blame the people who hired you.
Yeah, I don't think Christina
Because
Aguilera
it's-
is doing anything.
Right.
You know.
Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, what's she up to? Not much. Let's go. They're like, who should we get to do the Latin Grammys? Well, Bill Burr's top of the list. Who said that?
After his stint on The Mandalorian. Like, what about that? Well, that had Pedro Pascal.
Right. It sounds
So
Hispanic.
It's
Yeah.
that sounds Hispanic.
His name is Mando, right? Yeah.
And that white guy was in that show.
Mando,
So
a Grogu. They got all kinds of Latin stuff going on here.
yeah.
Let's get us a Bill
Rosario
Burr.
Dawson to do it.
Yeah. At least. Yeah. Because we got
She would have done
Pedro.
her homework on the names. Probably.
Yeah. We got that other the lady who's the girl Mandalorian, Bazooka, whatever her name was. She what was her name?
A bazooka.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna remember her as Viz. Oh God, what are their names? I can't
Vince
remember.
Bazooka.
Bazooka.
Yeah. No, her real name. I mean, not her real name, but her wrestler
Katie
name.
Sackhoff?
No, well, there's
Oh,
there's
you're
Katie.
talking about
Talking about the other girl because
Yeah,
she's a wrestler.
Bazooka.
She's a wrestler,
Yeah.
and I think she's got a name like that, like
she's an ultimate fighter, right?
Super Shotgun Lady or something like that.
Clammy.
Keep going. You're close. I'm not looking it up though. No, I'm going to. Are you looking it up? Look up. Start with Clammy Bazooka. See if that gives us anything.
Okay, you know what? I am gonna search. Everyone hates us right now. Whoever's listening, I'm very sorry. But
I'm
this
not.
Is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is the show.
Clammy
Bazooka.
Bazooka.
I'll actually look up Mandalorian. And what'd you get?
What the hell's her name? October Saturday. Bazooka from Berlin presents Mystification. I don't know what that is.
Oh, nice.
Sounds pretty good. Day of the Serpent 3.
Oh.
Drum - News 24. Bazooka Jones.
Bazooka Jones.
Cocaine. Oh, we're getting into cocaine. Okay, here we go. It's getting good now. Clammy Camera DSLR Mom. And Anti-Aircraft Journal. That was what Google gave me.
I love it. Oh, okay.
What's her name?
I was way off. So her wrestling name is Sasha Banks. But her name is Mercedes Castner Barnado. Where did Bazooka come from?
Oh, you're talking about the other person.
The girl Mandalorian that gets shot in the last episode by what's his name? You know, when Gus from Better Call Saul pops up and he shoots the one Mandalorian lady, and then they're like, "Put your gun down."
It's the one with dark hair. That's just like in the background. Does she have cornrows? Cornrows.
I don't think so.
Does she have cornrows?
The Mandalorian lady? I don't think so.
Who's the one that got fired though?
That's Gina
I thought you were talking
Carano.
about her.
Oh,
Gina Carano. That's who I've been thinking of this whole
we
time.
could have jumped way ahead in this conversation. No, Gina
I'm
Carano.
happy that I grandpa'd
Right.
this.
Yeah. I'm talking about because there's a trio of Mandalorians.
Other one.
Guy, Katie Sackhoff, other girl. I'm
And
talking about
other
Mercedes, the other girl. Bazooka. Clammy Bazooka.
Clammy Bazooka.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
I gotta put that into my Star Wars project.
It's
Oh, God.
right. But no, then why were we even talking about her?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Because she could have hosted the Latin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Grammys.
Get Clammy Bazooka, and she could have said all the things right. Get Gina Carano. I bet she would have done a better job than Bill Burr. But, you know, God bless
No,
him for
she
not
wouldn't have.
trying. Yeah.
Because Bill Burr was entertaining.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I'm
she's
sure
awkward.
what's her name would be entertaining.
Katie Sackhoff?
What's her name again?
Gina Carano?
Gina Carano. Hashtag save Gina Carano.
Right.
What was the hashtag? I feel like there was a hashtag around her. Wasn't there?
I mean, the big thing was they can't cancel us if we don't let them. We're going to go do Christian movies now. That was sort of like the rallying cry.
Smell you later. I'm doing Left Behind 7.
We're back. That's
Unsnapped.
yeah. That's
We're
great.
trying to get in on the Marvel thing.
Did you read those books?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't read it all. I didn't read one freaking thing.
What's the last book you read? Besides the Bible.
I didn't read the Bible ever. You kidding me?
You're kidding my ass.
You kidding that thing? The whole thing? I read Revelations.
Yeah,
That's funny. I was telling friends, was it some like couple Thanksgivings ago, and I was talking about church, and I was like, of course, when I was talking about confirmation, and it was like, first off, just me being a slacker, but then second off, and it was like we got to go up in front of the church and talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do like Beatitudes, or what did you do?
I don't
You did something
remember.
Jesus-y.
Sure, of course.
That was appropriate.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I walked up and I was like, and then there's gonna be a dragon, and then everyone gets like a chip in their head.
Pretty
I'm
sure everyone
was
goes
just like, of course, Eric did
Yeah.
Revelations.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
I did Revelations.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that one that's like totally metal. I'm gonna do that book.
Oh, that's great. What did you talk about? I don't remember any of this.
Just a slim pickings of revelations.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, here's
Just
the
like,
the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, I did a Cliff's Notes. Yeah, revelations for dummies.
Well, I mean, in your defense, though, I mean that's the hardest one. I mean, it's the most
crazy.
understood, misunderstood book of the entire Bibleography. So I would say you picked a tough one there to really go after. So
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I
Yeah.
said, from a scholarly standpoint.
yeah, yeah. What's the most metal one I can do?
I want to do Leviticus,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I have to give the people Revelations.
Yeah. I wanted to do. I was gonna do Diplodocus
Yeah,
or
that's my second
Brachiosaurus.
favorite.
Those were the two tough ones right in the middle of the Old Testament. But
Old Diplodocus
Yeah.
7, Chapter 4.
and then when they changed Brontosaurus to Apatosaurus, that was interesting. But
Yeah.
you roll with it. You
And
roll
you're
with
like,
the
I'm
times.
supposed to just give up Diplosaurus? Now
Yeah.
he just doesn't exist?
Oh, so now Diplodocus is nothing?
Oh, Diplodocus was Patasaurus the whole time? Sorry, but
I know, right?
nobody cares about Patasaurus. Get him out of here.
No one cares about him. Don't even get me started on Platypusaurus. Diplodocus. Oh man, the PP
That
edition.
did happen with Brontosaurus?
Yeah. He's now
That
a
may have been the
Patasaurus.
last book I read, frankly,
Yeah.
was the book explaining, like, rudimentary
Yeah.
paleontology. Yeah.
That or Hop on Pop, probably. Green eggs and ham,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
Yeah. Whatever. The most racist Seuss one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What you got? What you got for racistness? I'm trying to. I want to find a new. I'm gonna throw up a new image on our overlay here. I wonder if I have it. Yeah. Let's see here. Fight me. Thumbnails. Logos. No, probably not. I was gonna try to put something up just for fun because I thought it'd be fun to change it up or something. But yeah.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah. Yas Queen. Okay, let me see
That
if
died finally, right?
I think so. I don't really know.
I think I'm gonna say it all the time though now.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to piss people off.
As
I
long
think
as
that
it's
my time's come to use it.
prove to me that it's truly dead. Because it's all I'm gonna say.
Me and Gina Carano are gonna push the hell out of Yas Queen now,
Right.
or no Queen.
Next thing you know, you guys are gonna be on the next Left Behind movie together. If you keep this up.
Left Behind, the leper edition, where it's just all lepers. Everyone's a leper.
Left behind. I've been
Left
left behind. Clumsy Bazooka. Wait, what was her name? Gypsy. Clammy Bazooka. You don't want to be behind Clammy Bazooka when she's upset. It's bad. Bad things happen when Clammy Bazooka gets less clammy.
Or more clammy.
Or more clammy. Real bad things happen.
There will be blood.
Yeah. So you watched Kong versus the Diplodocus?
Yes, I watched Diplodocus versus Kong, V Kong.
Yeah.
It was a heart-wrenching court drama.
That's sweet.
I didn't think that custody battle between Godzilla and King Kong would have been so heart-wrenching.
But now you know.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew?
But yeah, have you watched that movie?
No.
Oh yeah, it's it's stupid.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's stupid.
It's dumb, but boy, are those fights fun.
Yeah, I bet.
No matter what someone thinks about that movie, you can't deny that those fights, you know what's happening. They're like, we're gonna pull back, and it's just gonna be a monkey and a lizard punching the
Right.
shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome.
And
That's
then
what you
there's some
expect.
dumb humans there just to move the plot forward,
Right.
and the plot's really wacky. It's
Really? I would expect it to have something or be too much.
yeah. Well, they've been hinting. I guess I should say they've been laying the groundwork for this Hollow Earth thing in the other movies. If you
okay.
remember,
Nope.
there's just like a throwaway line. I think in Kong, and one of the soldiers maybe in Kong Skull Island is like, "There's a Hollow Earth theory," and then in what's his name from the West Wing, that's in the Godzilla movie.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen.
Yep.
And his brother. What the hell's his brother?
Yeah.
Does stuff with Tim
Bazooka Estevez. Yeah.
Bazooka Estevez.
Yeah, it is
But yeah,
Estevez, right?
It is an Estevez.
Yeah.
All right, look up to me.
Charlie.
And chuckles. So, anyways, in this new movie, they go all in on this Hollow Earth shit, and it's great. And I won't say much. I don't want to say much, but I want to say that King Kong learned sign language from a little deaf girl. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all.
That's my entry point.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
yeah. Might
And
be
there's a
worth
lot
watching.
of there's Hong Kong. They level Hong Kong, and it's all like very cyberpunk. It's got all these neon. Like every building is outlined in neon.
Oh.
And they just take each other's heads and mash them through buildings.
Sounds awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Great in the worst of ways.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's wonderful.
I don't know if that makes any. Yeah, it makes. Nah, it doesn't make any sense. But who cares?
So these movies are not like standalone. Like they're actually part of a grander story.
It's sort of a. Yeah, there's kind of connective tissue, barely.
Really?
But it's every movie I think has had its own director, and they're given enough freedom to do their own thing. So it's like, it's his expanded universe.
That's interesting. I had no
It's
idea.
the monster verse, because everything has to be a verse if they can do it, right?
So the
Everyone's trying
King-
to be Marvel.
The King Kong from the 60s is the same King Kong now.
Yes.
Oh, wow. What's he been doing all
yeah,
this time?
Yeah, the Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's older. He has like some gray in his beard, but he's like twice as big now.
Oh, wow. Nice. Where's he been?
On Skull Island.
Okay. He's been hanging out. He's not been like chained up or anything.
No.
Okay, because I don't want to have myself a Jeffy moment.
They had to. I have to take a quick break. I am so sorry. But I will be right
Did you
back.
shat your pants?
No. But I have to break the seal.
Okay.
Hardcore.
All right.
It
dude.
has to happen.
Yeah, do your thing. Get up in there. I can helm this on my own.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here, you speculate about what you think the movie is going to be about.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
begin.
Here we go. King Kong versus Godzilla, or is it Godzilla versus King Kong? It's hard to know with these things. Let's find out. Godzilla. I won't look at the plot though. I'm just gonna say Godzilla v Kong. It's Godzilla versus Kong. All right, good to know. Yeah, and he is just real big in this movie. But yeah, it's a funny thing. I'll say maybe I know that I don't think that Brian will ever listen to this, but I know Nick will listen to this eventually. But I will say that I don't find anything interesting about watching a King Kong versus Godzilla movie. And the reason is because I don't like wasting my time. I feel like when I watch a movie, because here's the thing, I would never make a Godzilla King Kong movie. Like that wouldn't be something that I would gravitate towards. If someone was like, here's a bag full of money to make this movie, I would say, okay, fine, I'll make the movie. But I would never, seek out making a big blockbuster action movie like that. I want to watch something that I would want to make. I want to watch something that feels like it's informing my, filmmaking sort of goals and dreams. Although on the other hand, maybe I'm being, what's the word? Short-sighted about this, thinking that maybe I should, in fact, watch things that are way out of my sphere. Because if I watch things that are way outside of what I normally would or would want to do, it might actually help me. That's an interesting thought. I might have to reconsider that. But anyways, I'm guessing Godzilla's going to attack. King Kong is the only person that can save the world. So someone goes and gets King Kong, brings him to the world, to Tokyo or wherever they are, so that he can fight King Kong and basically save him. So effectively, we're turning King Kong into the good guy because Godzilla is the bad guy because he's the mindless lizard. But King Kong is more like a human. He's more anthropomorphic in the sense that we can sort of connect with him and his human eyes and his human soul. I think I got it. I think I nailed it.
Oh, you went deep with it. It
Or-
sounds like there.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was going real deep for a second there. I went on some tangents.
Oh, this movie is very deep.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Well, my guess is just that Godzilla's attacking. The only one strong enough is King Kong, so they go get him to help save the world by fighting off Godzilla. Because the thing is, Godzilla's a big lizard. We can't sympathize with the big lizard like we can with a human-looking Donkey Kong. So we go for Donkey Kong. He's the big winner. He gets to let go. There's got to be a Jeffy moment in there, though. That's the thing that makes me nervous.
You will have Jeffy moments with Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I assume he's taken against his will.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Do
I'm
you wanna
guessing that
know
it's probably there's some what do you call it, metaphor for slavery or something in there. Kind of like stealing someone from their homeland to use him for our own benefit, sort of thing going on. And that'll give me the Jeffy moments because he's gonna be really sad when he's chained up and shackled.
Yeah. And then frantic because he's been chained up.
Right.
And it's a bad time to be chained up. Yeah.
Right. Because he's on a boat, right?
Is that in the trailer?
Yeah, it's on. You see him on chains
I
on a
was
trailer.
Like, you
Yeah.
are nailing very specific things.
That would be amazing if I was just guessing.
I just have a feeling that he's going to be chained up on a barge
And
sailing, and it's going to have
The boat was called the
upside,
Catalina, right? Right. Yeah. Good.
Jesus.
Where is Kong Skull Island? Is that in the Pacific? It's got to be in the Pacific, right? Yeah. That seems like the properly tropical place
Yeah.
for a Skong Island to be.
Skong.
Yeah.
Skongo.
What point in time does Clammy Bazooka show up and save the day?
Oh, early and often.
Yeah.
You can't get enough. Everyone goes, I thought I would get tired of Clammy, but I just kept
But I
wanting
just
more
never
Clammy.
did. Clammy with a MAGA hat. That was my favorite part. The whole dang time.
I mean, every time she swung in on a rope with her Schwarzenegger. No, she'd just have a minigun. No.
Yeah. Oh, I like the minigun.
Would she have a minigun? Or would she have Schwarzenegger's gun from Predator?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
M16 with a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
M204 mounted underneath. And she'd just yell, Trump! Everyone's like, we
Who?
weren't even talking, what? We weren't even political.
No one mentioned that. Okay, well, thanks for saving us.
Trump! In slow motion, go, Trump!
Ching! Yeah. Thum. And then real time.
Yeah, and everyone gets blown back.
Yeah. Including.
Oh, Clammy, God. We all love Clammy.
Yeah. Well, we all loved Clammy. That's the thing. Clammy could have had it good for ever. But Clammy effed it up real hard.
Oh, we're talking about Gina Carano.
Yes,
I
we
remembered
are.
her name.
Good job.
I did it.
Yeah. You did it once.
I did it once. That's
Yeah.
all I'm going to be counted on in my own brain.
Yeah.
I did it. I passed.
Just doing it.
Never have to remember it again.
I can encourage you like I encourage Jeffy when he pee-pees and poo-poos. Because the thing is, Jeffy has a tendency to like kind of pee-pee and poo-poo wherever he wants.
Oh,
still,
not just like he did it in a place and now he keeps going back there. It's not that. He's just like, no, I'm gonna do it over here.
like 99% of the time is either outside or on the puppy pad, because that's how he was trained when he was brought in. So, but every now and then there's a little poo poo somewhere not where it should be, and it's not a big deal. You know, you just pick it up. His poo poo's nice and hard and not mushy or anything. So I make it a point to really encourage him and tell him what a good boy he is when he poops outside, when he like takes a second to time, because he's kind of like a kid, like he's having such a good time chasing his tennis ball. He doesn't go poop, and then he gets inside and he realizes he has to go poop. So sometimes that'll happen, like we'll play and play and play, and then he'll come inside and then he'll poop on the puppy pad. It's like, Jeffy, we were just outside, but he's just having too much fun.
He's like, I was all ball.
Yeah, I was all ball, man. Yeah. It was just me and
flew
Bazooka.
a little too close to the sun.
Oh, speaking of, did you know that Jason Bateman and Will Arnett have a podcast?
I think I have heard of it.
It's
but
good.
I haven't watched it.
It's delightful.
I just said I haven't watched
Hey,
it.
Grandpa. You don't watch podcasts, Grampies. Yeah.
Well, we watched this one.
Well, that's true. No, you do. You do watch podcasts.
So take that.
Yeah, take that, Grandpa.
Take that, clammy bazooka.
Take that up your clammy bazooka and smoke it. Yeah.
It's rifled
Yeah.
for my pleasure. Okay.
My clammy bazooka is rifled for your pleasure. Yeah, it's good. It's actually, and Sean Hayes is in it too, which is a very interesting combination.
What is it called?
It's called Smartless.
Smartless?
Smartless. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's good. But they do refer to Arrested Development quite often, which is wonderful, you know, because it's fun to have those little callbacks. But they did do an episode with Martin Short, which is quite lovely. So Martin Short, he's a crazy man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a wild guy.
He's nuts. He's still going. He still has all the energy he had.
I know, it's crazy, man. He's just all over the place. He's nuts. But yeah, it's a good one. But Arrested's something that I'd love to revisit at some point in time. I haven't watched it in a decade probably. It feels like a long time.
I'm trying to think. The first half of that second season reboot was good.
The Netflix version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they did the reboot, the first season was blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then that second season was better. I think the first half was stronger. The problem with the second half, though, I think was that's when Jeffrey Tambor got outed.
Oh, so he wasn't in the second one?
Oh, no, he was in it, but like right before that dropped, all his stuff happened.
Interesting.
Publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when that dropped, all the critics were like, no. And it was like, are you just reacting because now you feel you're supposed to hate him?
Right.
So it's tainted. Like it was fine, but yeah, I feel like all the criticisms were like Jeffrey Tambor was just, and it was like, okay, I think you're just trying to be on the right side of history here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because someone can still be talented and good at their job and be a little bit of a lecher, you know, it's possible.
Yeah, there are many artists that people go, oh, I'm supposed to hate them, but I love that thing they did.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm surprised like J.D. Salinger hasn't been canceled yet, because he's like one of my favorite fictional writers of all time, but probably just a little tiny bit of a pedophile. Maybe not like full blown, but, you know, a little pervy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most likely. I mean, his like wife was like, you know, just on the cusp of 18, I think, when they got married. So, you know, so you got some borderline stuff going on there. But, you know, it's just...
As the George Jones song goes, Elvis said, find 'em young. Brad said, old-fashioned girls are fun. Yabba-dabba-doo. King is gone. So
you should put that on your Bumble profile with the picture of the Count. That should be the bio. And see what happens.
Yeah.
I almost dare you to do it. 16. 17.
15. That's Matt Gates' profile. Oh!
Who's that?
He's that senator that's in hot water. He's the
Oh, I've not heard this.
he's the GOP. Oh yeah, that's a whole thing right now that's exploded.
Really?
Just here. How would you spell his name? I don't know. You look him up though. He looks like a caricature.
Here, I'll look
Looks
and
like a
see.
cartoon
Is it
character.
recent? Like recent?
Yes, it's in the midst. The investigation is happening. He is still a senator, and he's like a very like kind of like he's like one of these guys that's.
Let me see here. Senator pedophile. Because I'm sure I'll get the...
Well, that's gonna get 1,000 hits, so
Right.
you have to narrow it down.
News. Roy Moore.
Right.
No.
Here, look up Matt, enter in Matt, and then G-A-E. And I think you'll get there.
His name's Matt. Oh, that's too bad.
Yep. We're not saying all Matts are pedophiles, but all pedophiles are named Matt. That's all we're saying.
Oh, Matt Getz.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that guy. What is wrong with his face? He was in the... I think he was in the QAnon doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the QAnon documentary. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's like, he looks like the guy that, like, when you knew him when he was a kid, he was, like, super overweight.
Right.
But then he, like, kind of, like, slimmed up and got confident.
Well,
And you're like, oh, good for you. But then you're like, oh, but
yeah.
you're...
No, he definitely looks like the overweight kid. He might have gained the confidence, but you also knew when you looked at him that there was something wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably just one time only, got in really big trouble, and it was because he was like masturbating in the corner. It was something real bad, you know. Mm-hmm. You're just like, no, Matt Getz, yeah, no, he's that kid he was jerking off in the corner in 9th grade. Like, oh, that was him? Yeah. He's a senator? Ugh. It's because that's the thing.
That's when we were learning about lizards?
Yeah.
That's when he was jerking off.
Because there's two ways that you can say that. You remember Matt Getz? Yeah, that kid who was jerking off in the corner? Yeah, what about him? He's a senator now.
He's a senator.
Or, you know Matt Getz? Yeah.
Bird jerker?
He's a...
The guy that jerked off when we were learning about birds? I hope his nickname is Bird Jerker.
You mean old Matt Bird Jerker Getz? Yeah, I remember him. What's he up to?
Yeah, he's a senator.
Oh.
Well, of course he is.
Yeah.
A bunch of bird jerkers up in that joint.
Yeah. Which side of the aisle?
You know who else is probably a bird jerker? I mean, Mitch McConnell. Just look at
yeah,
him. I bet he's
definitely.
a bird jerker.
Oh, yeah. Well, turkeys turned him on the most, probably. It's like those little gobblers just turn me on. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah.
Bump. Salivating, thinking about him.
Just thinking about those turkey giblets. Right behind the giblets.
I'm right behind the giblets.
Yeah. Behind the old 8-ball. Behind the old giblet ball. Yeah. Well, that's gross. Did you watch the QAnon thing?
I haven't finished
Yeah.
it, but I'm like maybe 3 episodes.
Oh,
in
okay.
still.
Yeah. Nice.
So I got decently.
It's a good one. It's you know, it's a funny thing because it's like stylistically as a documentary is like not my style. It's one of those like I'm a
kind of almost
documentarian.
stylist,
I put myself in the center of the story, and you know, like which is fine and it works. But I'm just not a huge like
No,
narration.
It drew attention to itself enough.
Yeah,
where you're
exactly.
like, oh, this guy wants us to know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to be known as the guy who outed Q. That's what he wants to be known as. And I get it. Like, you know, this is like 5 years of his life that he took to make this thing. And you know,
I'm the one that made P come out, so we wouldn't want to out Q.
right. Mind your P's and Q's. So, you know, I get it, but stylistically not my thing, but it was a cool, you know, interesting enough story. But what's interesting to me the most is the father-son duo, you know, that are just like, you know, please don't cancel us. This is not, I'm not making a judgment here.
It's gonna get good.
but they're both very clearly high functioning autistic men.
Sure. They seem on the spectrum.
Yeah, they're definitely on the spectrum. And they've also have an unbelievably devious and untruthful side to them that has been allowed to turn into their main personality trait. So they can't say a single sentence without a lie coming out right behind it. So they don't even know what's true anymore. And so they're fascinating as human beings. And then couple that with with just the QAnon people who, like, when you get down to it, Q's not even a thing. Like, QAnon as a movement or whatever, it's not even a thing. It didn't exist. It's not real. It was just taking these, there weren't even tweets, they were just, message board things, and just running with it and turning into a conspiracy, which is just crazy that people are allowing their brains to get, that wrapped up in something that's not even real. Like, not even close to real.
Yeah, just like, and that's the one thing I got far enough to go, was there some other Q that got pushed out, and then the guy that was running that message board just said, I'm going to do this now. I'm Q.
Well, keep on watching.
I've been the same Q the whole time. Who knows about that? That's fascinating. But yeah, I think I maybe mentioned this last week, but again, I already mentioned, growing up as a Bible kid, but going, Revelations. The thing about Revelations is it keeps Christianity very alive. It keeps it moving. The future hasn't happened yet. It still isn't finished.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's aspects of QAnon that kind of like touch at that, poke at that, and you go, all these different things, these conspiracies. Everyone's going to have a chip put in them.
Yeah.
And we're all the mark of the beast. And it's like it's picking up on that, plus all these other things, plus just like old, I guess, anti-Semitic, kind of standards. And it rolls up and you go, I get how this is this fun little like adventure club, like the after school secret little club.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You go, okay, I get that.
Because it is like predominantly and overwhelmingly full of people who just don't have a home. They just don't have a tribe, a community, a group of people that they can call their own. And so that's how these things happen, is it's a whole bunch of lonely people who don't have anybody else to call their friend. And so they end up in these sorts of groups with people like,
where the internet said, hey, there's whatever you are on this earth, there's a place for you.
Yeah.
And QAnon found a whole bunch of people from like a cross section, a weird cross section.
Very weird. Yeah, it's a very weird cross section between, true right wing intellectuals to people who are truly high up in the government to marginalized, friendless people. And so it's this whole interesting group of humans that are, it's weird. But yeah, keep watching whenever you have the time. It definitely builds up to a nice climax, as Clammy Bazooka would say.
We all like a clammy climax.
So I watched a little fan film just before we started, because when I switch over to the Smoking Hot Nerds YouTube account, obviously the algorithm is a little bit different. That's feeding me ideas to watch, and it was like a just clone trooper CGI sort of like fan film type thing called Shadow of the Republic. Yeah, and it was pretty good. I was impressed. Yeah,
there's a couple crazy ones.
Yeah, it's a company called, let me see here what they were called. They were...
I maybe saw it.
Yeah.
After you made yours, I ended up down a very small rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Cinematic Captures, that's what they're called. But they make everything CG.
Pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, watch out what the algorithm's going to give you now that you search for him. But they do all, what do you call it? All motion capture stuff. So it's all mocap, and they do short films.
Real Engine. I don't know what they use.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They use something called, they always give them the credit. I forget what it's called, but it's interesting. I mean, the stuff looks really good. I don't know what their, like, thing is. Like, I don't know
Right.
why. Like, if they're...
Yeah. What do they do where they can do this on the side?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That this is like their fun little pet project, and you're like, Jesus, this looks amazing considering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for CGI, it's
Yeah, maybe they
some
all
of
work
these are
for
pretty great.
video game companies and they just do it for fun. I don't know, but yeah, it's good stuff. It was a fun one. It had a good little story. I was impressed.
Is that the one with the commandos going into a city
Yeah,
and then they get double crossed?
yeah, they go into to free a senator.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was impressed, but it was yeah, got me motivated. I still got this other one that I want to do at some point in time, and I actually have been waiting for it to snow. So if there's still snow by the weekend, I might try to convince my brother to come out with me and we shoot it. So
Yeah.
we'll see if the snow exists still.
I'm shooting my thing on May 2nd,
Oh yeah,
live action.
yeah, like a full
just-
episode or what?
Yeah, the live action portion of the first episode I'm shooting.
Awesome.
And then I have to do all the miniature stuff after that. But
Mm-hmm.
live action will be done.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
I know what I'm doing now. I know what I need to do. I have a space.
yeah. What'd you get?
Just at work. No, it's just at work, just a warehouse. I learned that, I just need some ladders and stretchy fabric to make a sky and then light that.
Okay.
So I just have some tall ladders. And I was like, yeah, that'll work. I wish I would have thought of this 2 years ago. But
Right.
the script is much better than it was 2 years ago.
There you go.
So.
So where do you put the fabric? What do you mean? How does that work as the sky?
So instead of having like some frame where I'm draping fabric and pulling it tight, whatever, I got stretchy fabric that's sky. I did like an ombre dye where it goes dark to like light dye job, and so it'll look like like a sunrise or a sunset. Like that's what I want the sky to look like. So I have that, and so I needed to be able to put the fabric up really tall. And I went, at work we have tall ladders. Duh. Just grab the ladders and just yank them, and then just front light everything.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
there's just barely enough room for me to do it, but it'll work.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm pounding forward. I have a date.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's
do it.
exciting.
So yeah, it's good. After so many years.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
But this time I feel confident in every way about it.
Yeah.
So I feel good.
Nice. That's cool.
Ready. Yeah.
Let's do it.
But yeah, you've got yours. Is it? It's the other script you sent me with the special lightsaber that's revealed.
No, that's a different one. That's like the whole short film that I want to shoot. I mean, that's gonna be. Gosh, I feel like that's a 5-day shoot. Honestly, I mean, I feel like that one's a big one.
Yeah. You got
This one,
multiple locations.
yeah. This one's more of a like very similar to that other one I made for that YouTube video. It's that kind of thing where it's just another. So my idea is like I wanted to do for the sort of Order 66 era. Wanted to do just a series of just like little shorty shorts. That'll be for that purpose only. And so this one's just another little bit in that sort of story of another Jedi on another planet getting, hunted by clone troopers. So it should be a fun one. So Zach's got, he made me this thing.
Oh yeah. Does he have all? Has he printed everything or?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is, my idea was it's going to be in the snow. So what I was going to do is just get some like white fabric and turn it into like a cloak, and then he would just be a snow trooper.
Oh, okay.
Being, trying to camouflage himself in the snow. And so you would only need this front half because he's crouched down anyways, kind of hunting the Jedi. So, yeah. So that was the idea with that one. So it should be fun. But yeah, no, it'll probably only be like a minute long or something like that. But we'll see what the weather's like in the next couple of days because this would be a perfect time to do it with the way the snow is falling. So, I mean, I don't know. Zach's working tomorrow, so I might.
Warm, but
Yeah, not too bad.
Also snowy. Yep.
If it's still snowing like this tomorrow, I mean, I kind of almost might just do it myself. It won't look as good if it's not. If it's not handheld, it won't look quite as good, but that's okay.
Yeah. Stick it on a tripod and shoot yourself. Stop shooting yourself.
Stop shooting yourself. But it's also snowing. Get all kinds of snow all over. But that's okay. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Yeah, my scene, I'm like, it's still probably going to be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, when I think, I'm like, oh, that feels long.
Yeah.
But
it is long.
it's long.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to edit. Like the longest video I've made so far, like 16 minutes. And yeah, it feels like you're working on it forever.
Right. Yep. I know that one.
Yeah.
It's 25 pages, so who knows? I'm probably even cheating at saying 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's usually a minute per page, so it could be somewhere between 20 and 30 at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's gonna be great. All about
Yeah,
it.
it will be. For sure.
Yeah, I got to see about so I got my costume. Now I just got to figure out what lightsaber to use. And actually, I might not cheat, but actually use like one of my brother's actual like light up lightsabers this time. So you get you get the real light bouncing.
So you get light.
Yeah, but then you also get the true glow. But then it's really super easy to throw
then throw the effect over
it. Yeah, it's just only challenge is depending on how bright it is. It's just like the challenge is exposing correctly so that everything else is lit, but the like lightsaber's not totally blown out, so it like ruins everything.
Right.
Yeah. So that'll be the only challenge, but I think it'll look cool. So.
Well, but if you're doing daylight, that's probably easier than like if it's night and you have to somehow not blow out the lightsaber, but also not lose.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, daytime will definitely be a lot easier. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's what they did in the most recent Star Wars movies and Mandalorian and everything else. They're using actual lightsabers. Yeah. The glowy things, and they actually like light up and move, which is kind of cool. Which is a lot of work. That seems like a lot of work to have them light up on set as well, because you basically have to you have to take out the part of the lightsaber that exists, and I don't know. I mean, it's probably
but like if you can get that glow onto an actor's face,
right.
Like,
Yeah, that's probably worth it.
Yeah, because the second if you don't capture that and you want to achieve that in post, it's like, oh boy, that's bad bombing.
Yeah.
To quote Boss Nass.
To quote Boss Nass, and I think Jar Jar said it once too.
Maybe
Yeah.
Jar Jar,
Yeah, they all said it. Ugh.
I say I like my Star Wars either good or totally trashy.
Or garbage. Yeah.
Yep.
So bad. Caught a little tiny bit of well, I guess it would have been number 2, right? Episode 2. Yeah, the Deuce. Oof.
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. The dialogue itself is just so bad. Real rough. And then the execution of said dialogue is even rougher at times.
Yeah. Because they don't have any time to figure it out.
Yeah.
What do we do with this? Oh, we're moving on? Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to put my name on this?
Yeah. I think it's just been so great if, I understand it was just bad direction and bad acting, but mostly bad direction. But
yeah, it was like, here, figure this out. It's super stylized,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to help you out at all.
You get no help
That's
from
what
me
it is.
because I'm
I
hitting
want
man
old
menopause.
Hollywood, and
Sort
I'm
of.
going to sit in my chair.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here, drink coffee.
And
Yeah, but
there you
if
go.
Anakin had been, extremely like persuasive
Likeable.
and seductive and attractive and like sort of like almost more like Han Solo and less like a big fucking baby.
he needed to be
Pardon
the
the F word.
outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he had been, instead of, I don't like sand, it's rough and coarse, I hate it. If
The
it
one
had been,
thing I'll say is I don't mind that. I think there's a whole lot worse than him going, sand sucks. I'm like, yeah, sand does suck. I
Right,
get you
right.
there, dude.
right.
Like in that moment, I go, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that's the biggest sin. I think there was,
But if he had used the
lot
line
bigger
as a means to like get her attracted to him, because the line wasn't used that way, but that was the end result, and it didn't make any sense. It's like, trust me, no girl's into that.
doesn't
Like
land
whatever
at
you're
all.
saying right now is not working for anybody. I mean,
especially because he just comes off as this intense little weirdo
yeah,
that's kind of maybe a shithead.
yeah,
And
definitely
that's all
that.
she sees in him, and she's like, "You're making me feel uncomfortable." She says that early in the movie,
Yeah,
and he does nothing to overcome that.
right.
And he tries to undermine her, and she's like, "Hey, I'm in charge here. Let me." Yeah, when they're on her planet, Naboo, and he's like, "I'm the security chief," and she's like, "And I've lived here, idiot." Yeah, it's like at no point do you go, "Oh, she is into him."
right, right.
And then he goes, "Sand sucks, but everything here is really pretty." And then she's like, "I'll kiss you."
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow. But that, I mean,
doesn't make any sense.
it's clearly written by someone who hasn't experienced any form of romance for decades.
Yeah.
Because who wants to kiss a freaking frog-necked, grossy nobody? So he's sad because no one wants to kiss him in his frog neck. So
You have a frog neck? I guess.
who? George Lucas?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Hayden Christensen. I
No.
was like, wow. I don't think he had a frog neck.
No, George Lucas has the frog neck.
He has kind of a frog
Grossy old frog neck boy. Yeah, it was just awful. So you know that was just like he doesn't have an ounce of romance in his body, hence why, and nothing's really bad's happened to him. So he's just like, how do you write anything?
Well, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not that you have to experience everything you write, but you know, what
Talk
I'm saying.
about a director becoming a producer for too long. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Became a producer forever, and he didn't have to prove himself.
Well, he's only a director
then
twice. Before
he had
that,
to prove himself again. Yeah.
besides film school, he was only a
THX.
director 2 times. 'Cause
American
THX
Graffiti.
Yeah, THX was. I thought that was a student film, or was it not?
That's a student film.
Yeah, but then American Graffiti and Star Wars, right?
Graffiti and Star Wars, and then Star Wars just hit so big that was it.
Mm-hmm.
His whole whatever would have been derailed, and he was all in on Star Wars.
So he's more of a producer and a CEO than he is a director. So at that point in
Because
time,
he had mega strength in being a marketer,
mm-hmm.
or at least being a businessman.
yeah,
you
he
know.
understood business, that's for sure.
Toys. I want toy rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these things that built his empire.
Yeah,
Yeah, he ended up being brilliant in that, and didn't have to actually make a movie. He could have big ideas, and then someone else would figure it out.
right.
For years, for decades.
Yeah.
And they were good ideas, and then. But what I didn't realize was I watched something about gearing up for the prequels, and that he actually tried to get directors, and everyone was like, I think you should do it, George. I don't want to touch this.
Really?
No, thank you.
Really?
Like he went up to Ron Howard and some other people, and they were all like, no, thank you.
Really?
Bye." Yeah.
No way. For what reason did they not want to do it?
I don't know. Maybe he pitched it to them, and they were like, I
Yeah.
think you should do it. It sounds great.
My
Bye."
gosh, they would have been vastly different films with other directors. Not necessarily better. Who knows?
Just anyone.
Because
though,
the writing
yeah,
was pretty garbage. So
Yeah.
you know, but it's not a surprise then when he hands over 3 scripts to Kathleen Kennedy, for the new Star Wars movies, and they're just like, cool, thanks. Or I'll
And
just
now
put them
you
inside
wanna-
my bazooka.
And now you're in Fern Gully or whatever you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like on to the wills, and he had this whole other thing on what he thought the Force was, which could be very interesting. But again, you need someone else that's like attached to reality. To
Yeah.
go, how do I make this work? It's like
Yeah.
Irving Kershner going, okay, we got this thing.
Yeah.
How do we make it work?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Empire was really quite a departure from just this one movie that had kind of taken over the thing. And when it was brought down to more of like a reality thing, like Luke in the cave fighting, Darth Vader and things like that, is like it took it in a different direction than I think you thought of as a first time viewer of regular Star Wars, of just the original movie.
Right.
So Return of the Jedi brought it back around to teddy bears and space battles and stuff.
When Lucas has kids already, and it's already his businessman mind is going, toys, merchandise, new generation, getting a new generation hooked. Whether he even was thinking it or not, that's where he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. The first one worked so well. Why change it? Why mix it
right.
up? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we do with that? Well, we make another Star Destroyer or another Death Star and another this, another that, and just keep telling the same dang story over and over and over again. And we keep on going back and watching it.
Did that. I feel like people want to credit Return of the Jedi with creating the blockbuster.
That's interesting.
And maybe it did. Like just this thing where you're like, it's probably just going to be nothing but payoff and whatever. And critics will go, ugh, but people will love it.
Yeah.
And there's big explosions.
Big explosions. Yeah, no, it's true.
And that maybe started it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even more
There's
so
other
than,
movies.
well, I see what you mean, though. Like it being a movie kind of for the paycheck rather than for the story in that sense of the blockbuster. Yeah. Yeah.
Not that the Luke story was good, but it's like they didn't know what to do with anyone else. They're like, we know how to pay off Luke and Vader, but
Yeah.
what do we do with all these other people? Nah, teddy bears. We figure it out.
Or like the new movies are doing, it's like same thing where you're like, okay, we've got a lot of characters we don't know what to do with. What should we do? Introduce more characters we don't know what to do with?
Them?
Yeah. And what should we do with them? Put them on horses? Perfect.
Yeah, great.
It just goes down this
And-
horrible rabbit hole.
Those horses are gonna do what? Charge the Imperials on top of a Star Destroyer. Yeah. Let's just go all in.
Yeah.
Who
What should they
cares?
be charging? Gigantic laser guns? Perfect.
It sounds great. Yeah.
It was just
I
a
love
whole-
that last movie. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Great.
So bad. So bad. And then they come across like the ragtag team of former stormtroopers. Like, of course you did. Yeah, of course you did. Yeah.
Well, at least it gave Finn something.
Yeah. True.
Last Jedi, it was like,
Yeah.
he should have ended up on the cutting room floor. 'Cause
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
know what to do with him
Well, they
in that
could have
movie.
killed him and Rose. It'd been fine. Just knock them both off. Because you can't, and I know you can't, and it would have been a terrible way to do anything. But that said,
But
if you
characters
just
written,
killed them,
yeah.
then we're good. Like you didn't have to kill Han and Leia, and Leia kind of, but there's a
to
lot of
kill
characters
Leia.
you didn't need to kill. They could have figured out a way to just do Carrie Fisher's blobby face at that point. They could have used her. They could have CGI'd her. So it'd have been fine. But instead we just hold on to these characters that are just pointless and useless and do nothing for the story.
Well, they pretty much chop Rose out completely.
Yeah, more or less.
She just got stuck at the base going,
Yeah.
They're like, you want to go on an adventure? She's like, I'm going to stay here. Have fun.
Right.
That's her whole part.
Yeah, I'm going to stay here and not be on Instagram. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to He is minimal. I'm going to be Jar Jar episode 3
Right.
over here.
That's a tough one. And that's what sucks about that situation is like, you know, with like Finn and Rose and stuff like that, you've got these two characters that were terribly written, poorly placed, not so wonderfully cast.
Potential for Finn. Finn had all the potential in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They just went, we didn't have a plan.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is like when you present to me a former stormtrooper, you're going to expect him to be a certain way. But the thing is, you've already got a Poe Dameron. So you can't have two Poes. So you got to give him the goofy foil Three Stooges nonsense because Rey is a heroic
she
character.
She has to be super strong.
Yeah.
She is, yeah, and we're going to have to get into the whole Mary Sue thing, but I get it with that character where she didn't ever have to fail. And it was like, it doesn't make her compelling because she never failed.
But if she'd been more like Luke and had been more of kind of a farm boy, not super smart. Yeah, about the world, all that kind of stuff. But she was just like so worldly and so wise already. She was like Anakin when they find Anakin. He was like this worldly, wisely little kid who fixed pod racers.
Right.
So you don't really have a lot of place to go.
He doesn't seem realistic, but he has a downfall.
Right.
So, okay, at least there's a negative that happens with him.
Yeah.
Luke wants more, but doesn't get what that means, and then he experiences it, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
With her, it's like she doesn't have to traverse anything.
Mm-hmm.
She's a strong, amazing character that completely understands everything when she's faced with it and doesn't fail. And it's like, it's okay. I think it's okay for a character to fail, and we can still see them as strong. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, but see what happened with having a character like Finn in the movie and a character like Poe, you ended up not giving either of them much to do. Because Poe didn't really have much to do. They had to keep on like pretend killing him. Yeah, so they need to it should have just been one character. Have like the TIE fighter pilot who's on this mission, who's a little bit of a renegade, you know, an outsider, blah, blah, you know, a little bit more of a guerrilla than, you know, the other rebels are willing to do.
Charismatic and strong-willed.
Because he would have been just fine to be the one to carry the movie and sort of like push Rey's plot forward. Like that's the thing. Like he could have been the one who landed on Tatooine and or wherever the hell they were. Whatever desert planet there. Jakku. Yeah, that's right.
Jakku?
Yeah, Jakku. You know, because he's on the run and he has to go and Jakku.
Somebody was drunk and was like, Jakku. Like, okay.
Like, perfect.
We can't think of anything else. We're putting down Jakku till we can make it better.
They cross out Rusty Bazooka, put in Jakku. Done.
And they got to filming day and said, it's still Jakku.
Slightly better.
Okay, I guess we're going with Jakku.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Oscar Isaac's already memorized his lines, and he will not change it. Trust me.
The one thing Oscar's agent's telling us, Mr. Isaac's agent says, it's Jakku.
Once it's in. It's in his brain. Can't change it.
Cannot remember.
No rewrites.
A new stupid planet.
He's in the chair. No rewrites after he's in the chair.
That's right.
Just understand that. He's got his sides on him.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's getting makeup done. No, it's Jakku.
It's Jakku forever. Are you sure we can't go back to Rusty Bazooka? Nope. We're done. Yeah.
Y'all wish.
Yeah. But he could have been that. His character would have been the one that could have done all the things that Rey did or that Finn did.
That Finn.
You know.
Yeah.
It could have been that's the character.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or vice versa. Yeah, it could have been either or, but you didn't need both.
Well, you didn't need the guy who's like, I don't want to be a stormtrooper. You're like, okay, great. What are you? He's a coward. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of.
And then who should his best friend be? How about another sort of cowardly lion character? You know, it's just like, it's just all B team nonsense.
Right. Which is like, I think the point was like, oh, what if the C team had a side mission in Star Wars? And you're like, that's great for a TV show or a fan film. that's great for the stupid thing I'm making. Maybe not for the second movie in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That everyone's looking forward to for, almost
But
20
you
years.
have to thread like 500 needles.
Yeah.
Which I get. And I love Ryan Johnson's his murder mystery movie.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think he's got talent.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, making a movie and making a Star Wars movie are two very different things.
Vastly
Those
different.
are two different animals. Because you can kind of do whatever you want with Star Trek. You can kind of do whatever you want with different. Even Marvel at this point can kind of just jack off and do whatever they want. They can make Jakku,
Yeah.
but with
Marvel's so formulaic; they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and then a
Yeah.
director just has to work with actors, right?
yeah,
In Marvel, you come in and you get to make the actor thing work
yeah,
because everything else is solved. You don't have to think about special effects. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're set.
but yeah, that sequel trilogy, they were figuring themselves out.
yeah.
Disney said, "Hey, we're going this direction. We don't know."
We're not sure. Yeah, and it's tough too because I think maybe with like things like Marvel and stuff, you kind of already have it's all interpretations on characters still. So it's interpreting it's because now we're in that too. It's like okay, now we're doing some interpretations on what U.S. agent is, and things like that. So we're just working with characters.
What's our version of all these things?
Exactly. Whereas Star Wars was not that. Star Wars was like, oh, we got to make up new characters, and people are probably going to hate them. They got to feel like canon, but maybe they're not going to. And so there's just a lot.
Oh yeah, too much.
Yeah.
And then it's just executives going, well, this is what the focus groups like, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to appease focus groups, so we're gonna be doomed for sure.
Yeah.
Because
In the words of C-3PO,
I mean,
we're doomed. Yeah.
we need 4% Jar Jar.
Yeah.
We need 60% Han Solo. We
Right.
need 40% this. Yeah.
Yeah. They liked Poe. They don't like his hair. We got to change his hair. Let's get in there and CGI that hair.
Give him a
That's like
mohawk.
the level of things that get sometimes with focus groups and nonsense like that. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then when you're trying to say, hey, we're speaking to today's audience, and what is today's audience into?
Mm-hmm.
Skateboards? I don't know. Yeah, right, whatever.
Roller
it is.
derby? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a needle to be threaded, and it's not easy to do. That's for dang sure.
Yeah, that's why TV's the way to go for a hot minute. And
Mhm.
they can go
Oh,
back
yeah.
to movies once they go, okay, we have a foundation.
Totally.
We know what people like. We know what's worked under our umbrella.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and they had to admit, the one thing I'll just say very quickly, like I've said a lot of times before, though, is that all these kids grew up on the prequels and they saw the potential of them
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that when Disney bought Star Wars didn't see, and they thought there was zero potential in that.
Yeah.
They said, oh, no, we're tossing all that away. We're going to throw that away. We're going to go back to the old.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you just need to find those people that know what to do with the potential.
Right. And falling
You got to grow this thing. Star Wars can't just be the old trilogy. It can't.
exactly, but having guys like Filoni and Favreau and people who understand that, who aren't afraid to push the limits of technology, but truly understand story,
Right.
those are the kinds of guys you want gatekeeping and guardianing these things and pushing them forward and making them better,
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. That's probably the fundamental problem with Warner Brothers, with DC, is that they're not willing to let someone else's vision run with it. They're not willing to let the world kind of bust open. Because if you think about Captain America, the original movie, it had nice elements, like comic booky type stuff, but it didn't feel like a wholesome, movie that you would expect a Captain America movie to be, or it also on the other side didn't feel like oh, we're gonna do a dark version of Captain America. It was like the perfect amount of wholesome and dark,
Right.
and so it felt like it.
cynicism and wholesomeness.
Yeah.
I think is what Marvel's good at. Is that it? Yeah, like especially with that movie in particular, it's like when he becomes a super soldier for real, but then the government's like, you're going to sell war bonds.
Right.
And so he's just this clown dancing around this silly outfit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is great. And like, but he thinks, he's like, oh, I'm important. This is a big deal.
Right.
And everyone's cheering for me. And then he gets sent to the front to go perform for them. And they're just like, hey, where's the chicks at? Get out of here, stupid. They're throwing rocks at him. And he's like, oh, shit, this sucks.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it's just real, you know. It's, yeah. Marvel could find their way into things and say, this is our point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not too far gloomy or doomy. It's not too light and frivolous where we can't have gravity. They found a place where they can have both, and they could laugh at itself and kind of wink to the audience and then say, okay, we know what we're doing. And the audience went, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll follow.
And
trust you.
all the movies feel the same, but when there is a departure like Ragnarok, it works. Because they'd already established Thor as a funnier character in the Avenger movies, someone who had a sense of humor. And so by the time we got to that point,
moments where you went, oh, there's some potential there. Like when he's standing, like what's the second Thor movie? Where he's like in the subway trying to get back to his hammer or something. And there's like this awkwardness. And you're like, okay, it's there. Yeah. The potential's there.
Yeah.
And Hemsworth seems to want to go there.
Yeah. And it's there because of him, because they cast a guy who's also ridiculously funny. So it works to make that transition.
That confidence to say, oh, I want to be an idiot.
Yeah.
Let me be a moron.
Yeah.
It'll be funny.
Wonderful. I love that. I wish that I had that self-awareness.
And then you get Taika Waititi to direct it, and you're like...
Yeah.
But two, again, like, that is a perfect example of, like, for all the silliness it has, it still nails characters, and it still hits gravity. And when things are important, they're still important. I think that's what Taika Waititi, as silly as he is, the silliness endears you to characters. So then when something happens, you go, oh, I care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, that's perfect. Especially in a comic book movie. Yeah, great. Especially with Thor, because it's this goofball spinning a hammer and flying in the air. It's kind of stupid, so let's lean into it.
Yeah. Well, and the Hulk, too, the Hulk can be a trap of a character, too, because it's just like, oh, it's a super smart doctor who then gets angry, so...
When the Hulk is just, like, gloomy, you're like, I don't need gloomy Hulk. This is boring as hell.
Yeah. So when you've got, actually, Ruffalo, who's also very, very funny, the way that their characters play off each other, because it's very hard to have... Well, and even, I forget her name now, who plays Valkyrie, she's really funny,
Thompson.
too. Yeah. So you've got these three characters, three actors who are incredibly hilarious, and they're wonderful together. Everybody in that movie is funny, and so, and it really, really, really works. But yeah, then there's this beautiful relationship between Hulk and Thor that is really like just fun to watch. Yeah,
right.
That one just kind of hit all the marks.
And Hulk going from like to just like
yeah. He's
like,
just bored.
Everybody hates me on Earth.
Yeah.
I want to stay here. And it's just like, treat him like a toddler. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. Because Banner is a genius and is scared and is not an alpha. And then Hulk is the ultimate alpha, but he's a toddler. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your way in.
It's great.
Yeah. And Thor is charming, but kind of stupid and headstrong. And then you throw in Jeff Goldblum.
Who's just wonderful. Yeah. That's like just the most beautiful casting.
I love that movie.
Yeah. It's a good one. Oh man, now I want to watch it.
It was funny. Well, you'll get there.
I've only got 7 movies to go. No more than that.
Where are you? How far? Have you
Well,
gotten any further?
technically only Iron Man 2. So
You start watching Thor, and you're like, you don't
yeah.
go far.
I think that what it's going to have to be is we're going to have to do Captain America. I think that'll be the next one cuz that's a fun one. But then I think do Captain America and then just go to Avengers and then I'll just catch her up on pertinent information as it goes along. There's not that many holes to fill between Captain America and Avengers cuz that's the Tesseract shows up in Captain America, right?
Yes.
So that's what Red Skull has. So we can skip Thor if we want to and go right to
Yeah, it's just I feel like she's seen enough Loki. She gets what Loki is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Asgard doesn't matter.
Not really at all. We can just
once
do
you
the
get to
Cliffs
Thor
notes.
Ragnarok, even then you're like, who cares about Ragnarok? Like, Thor Ragnarok gets that nobody cares about Asgard. So they're
Right.
like, let's just blow it up
Yeah.
because nobody
Right.
cares.
Yeah.
And you're like, yep,
Yeah.
perfect. And then they kill half of them in Infinity War.
Yeah,
even beyond
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then all of a sudden they just become fishermen in Endgame.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like when you do watch them all, and you do kind of pick up on it, and you get it, you still get to like Endgame, and you're like, what the is going on? Like I have no idea who that person is. What are they talking about?
Craziness.
Yeah.
that
Even
movie.
like in what was the movie? Or it was Thor, Falcon and Winter Soldier. He said something to him. Falcon says something to Sebastian Stan, and he goes, actually, it's White Wolf. Oh, he goes, oh, you're going Lone Wolf. He goes, actually, it's White Wolf. And I was like, what is that? So I looked it up, and it was like what he got called in
when he's in
Endgame in Wakanda. And it's like, how, what? Okay.
Right.
I guess
So,
there's
a
no way to-
reference to comics, but they hit it barely in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much going on at all times.
So much denseness. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
and two,
good, but-
like on my other podcasts, like Friends, and I was like hesitant to get on board, but it's true. Is the thought of like, how can someone 20 years from now watch Endgame? You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Because you go, what the hell's happening? I don't get what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to watch
You
10
can't.
other years of movies.
You can't
20
watch it
movies.
now. You can't
No,
even watch.
it's
Like we
already-
couldn't even watch WandaVision.
Like you're saying, it's so interconnected.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of a soap opera.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You got to go
Yeah.
back and watch all the things to know
To see
what's happening,
everything.
or at least look it up. I mean, even like, it felt like watching Iron Man 2. We got like halfway through Iron
Even
Man
that?
2, and I was already confused. Like, wait, what's he talking about?
Who's Vanko? What's happening?
What's happening? Yeah. Well, because also Iron Man 2. So it was Iron Man, then Iron Man 2, right? Those were the first two Marvel
I put
movies.
on Iron Man 2 last night.
Yeah.
I was doing something, and that's one of my go-to Marvel background movies.
Oh yeah, nice.
I can't say it's great, but I will have it on in the background endlessly.
It's just a really big montage movie, and I mean Sam Harris,
Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell is great.
It's wonderful.
By the way, I had the weirdest dream. What's his wife's name? Who's in that movie? No. Well, he was in it. Yeah. What's his wife's name? Who's in the movie with him? She plays the reporter. Yeah.
The Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in the first two movies.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I had a dream that was at a party, and they were there, and that must have just come from, watching the movie or something like that. But anyway, so I woke up and I go, oh wait, we never finished Iron Man 2, which we haven't yet. But I mean, I've seen it
Still
once
not even
or twice.
done with Iron Man 2.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you're never getting to Endgame.
yeah. Oh, what I was
Never
saying was
happening.
the reason is because you're watching Iron Man 2, which is the second Marvel movie.
Number two.
Number 2 of all of them. And they've already recast 2 of the characters. By that movie, they've already recast Rhodey, and they already recast his dad. They put, what's his name from Mad Men in as his dad
Well,
in the thing.
are you talking? Okay.
Yeah, because his dad, they have the papers
in the first
in the
one.
first Iron Man. It's a different actor. I forget the actor's name, but also a very stately, looking Howard Hughes type looking character, and he's in that. And so by the time, so you're already in the second freaking movie, and they've already recast 2 of the characters, and they're sort of like rewriting it so that it works. Because later they're going to have John Slattery in, whichever one. I don't know.
He pops up in 2, and then he pops up in Endgame.
Is it Endgame? Is that where he goes?
Winter Soldier or Civil War.
Because they go back in time.
And Ant-Man, maybe? He
can't.
might be at the beginning of Ant-Man. I haven't
much.
watched Ant-Man proper in a long time.
No, he is. He's with Michael.
De-aged,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Martin Sheen.
Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Yeah.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Martin Dingles.
With Martin Estevez. Yeah. Did you remember his brother's name yet? The Estevez brother?
Joe
Estevez? Is it Joe?
Joe Estevez.
Yeah.
Yep. Nailed it.
That seems
Boom.
that seems way too likely that his name is Joe.
It's Joe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe you.
love Joe Estevez. Yeah, it's Joe Estevez for sure. You can Google it. Google it right now.
I will.
Google it while I maybe pee again.
We'll have to wrap it up
May or may
shortly
not.
anyways because I gotta do other things.
You have to number 2.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, you're right. It is Joe Estevez. How about that? Well, here we go. The podcast is all about me again. Joe Estevez is alive. How about that? He was married to Shirley Monkman in 1978. They divorced in 2001. And he married Constance Anderson in 2004, and they seem to be still alive. So that's nice. That's really good. It's interesting. That's a long time to be married to somebody. 78 to 2001. Wonder what happened. Curious to know. Should ask him. Should call him up here and see, find out. But yeah, he's got a couple kids. Emilio Estevez. Oh no, sorry. He's the uncle of Emilio Estevez, of course, because it's Martin Sheen's kids. Why wouldn't they put who his kids are in instead of who his nephews are? Oh, because his nephews are famous. That's why. That makes sense. Well, anyway, so sometimes you got to carry the show on your own shoulders. So that's what I'm doing right now. Let's check in and see if we got any viewers. Well, we got one viewer on Facebook. Let's check out YouTube. We've got Luke commenting, Snyder cut of the sequel trilogy. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, actually. May as well, right? Let's do like a 6 hour, 10 hour. No, let's do what we 2, 4, 6. So that would be 6 hours already. So yeah, let's do like a 12 hour or 14 hour Snyder cut of the sequels. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to pin that message. I'm going to say agreed. A 14-hour prequel cut. Boom. There we go. I think that'd be sweet. It'd be fun. It'd be more fun to see something like that. I don't know. I just feel like when a movie just is like so epic, or a series or something, like the prequels, when it's as epic as that is, and you've got one major failure, and that major failure is the casting of the main person. That's the thing that I just don't understand. Like, how do you fail so hard in how you cast a show or cast a movie? Oh, look, another quote or another comment. Wait,
What did we get? What are people saying?
Well, we got a comment from Sarah. It says, wait, what? Are Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez related? Sure are.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Welcome.
She unfortunately hopped in when I was all alone and babbling to myself. But yes, they are. Martin Sheen and Martin Sheen is his dad. So, because what's Martin? Is it like Martin Estevez? Is that his real name?
Probably. So then, yeah.
Yeah, because Estevez is
Sheen
actually the
in
Sheen's real last name, but Martin Sheen changed it to Sheen. I don't know when or at what point in time. It became
Estevez wasn't shiny enough.
Yeah. Well, it was way too Hispanic probably for the Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Martin Sheen changed his name, so when he had his kids and they became famous, Charlie Sheen decided to keep the Sheen thing, and and then Martin,
But then Emilio Estevez
and Emilio,
had him in.
he decided to
And-
keep it real.
Yeah. But then you go, oh, Emilio Estevez is a cool name.
It is actually.
Yeah. I think I might change my name to that. I don't think anyone will notice.
Eric Estevez? Be sweet.
Enriqueo Estevez? Enriqueo Estefrop.
Estefrop.
Yeah, it's got a good ring to it. It's smooth. It works.
That'd be hot.
Force
Do
it down everyone's gullet.
Do it.
I just had an Austin Powers moment where he's like peeing after he gets out of cryo.
Yeah, I just kept on going.
And I'm like, I'm done. Oh, wait, no.
Just kidding.
Take 2. Take 3. Take 5. Take 7.
It's been a thing lately. I don't know if it's like, an over
Old
40
man.
thing,
Urethra?
but it's just like you go, you're finished, but now I just got to stand there for a minute, wait.
Make sure.
And there's like a significant
Something else
push.
is coming.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
end. Which is fine, if that's the worst that it's going to be for the
That's just
time being.
beginning, I think, but
Yeah.
we're just starting down
Don't
a
say
new
that.
road.
No, I want to believe that this is the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
this is the worst. This is the worst of the health is going to ever be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I
we're
tell myself.
fine.
Anyways, fine. We're totally fine. That's how the Smartless guys end all of their episodes at one point in time. They just finally go,
Oh,
bye. It's really
Bye.
funny. Yeah.
yeah.
So now it's like a little bit of a game. Oh, and Luke had mentioned, how about a Snyder cut of the sequel trilogy? So there you go. Or I was
Well-
thinking a 14-hour prequel cut is what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. All new
Want more
special
Jim
effects.
Jam.
Yeah. But completely
Recycle, boom, boom.
no, kill Jar Jar or eliminate him early, and then also just recast Anakin and put a totally new Anakin in the whole movie. So it's like Martian
and then
Manhunter.
Make him likable. But what you're saying is, at the end of the day, Anakin needed to be the outsider going, hey, I don't know about this Jedi thing or that Jedi thing. They seem a little whack. And people need to go, yeah, those do seem a little whack.
Yeah. Or at least he
So
needed
then, at
to
least when he changes, you go,
Yeah.
okay, at least you've set the groundwork for us to say, yeah, maybe the Jedi were not right. all the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that and also just sort of like a person who didn't know that he had such immense power, and the power had to be seductive on its own. Like there was nothing seductive about the way that he was seduced to the dark side. It's like, no, there's nothing going on there at all.
I think his power should have been amazing when it saved the day, but then when all of a sudden it becomes trying to save someone he loves,
Mm-hmm.
it gets perverted right away, and that power
Yeah.
is bad. And,
Yeah.
and it's believable enough.
Yeah, and
You
that
know, I think he should have. It should have been fun, and then, oops, everyth's backwards and upside down.
Yeah.
What happened?
what good would it do? What good does it do? And all this kind of stuff. Like, that whole thing where he goes on this just insane dialogue about like a Jedi who is so powerful they could raise people from the dead or whatever the heck they were talking about. I have no idea what they were jibber jabbering about.
Tragedy of Darth Plagueis.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But see, I
good
love the
scene.
idea though of him. The idea of him like losing his mom, not being able to save her, but then knowing that there was a Jedi at one time who has saved life, and him becoming obsessed with that, and that obsession takes over.
And letting that build. Over
Yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
In the movies.
Yeah. Almost to the point, like a-
episode 1.
Yeah, like a Doctor, what's the guy's name from? Like a Dr. Moreau, almost to the point where he's so obsessed with saving life or with bringing life back from the dead, that he doesn't care about life anymore, and so he becomes this maniac who doesn't care because he's like, well, I can just raise you from the dead, it doesn't matter, So it's like that's what happens to people who have absolute power, and that's what he needed to be, but instead he was just this big old baby for 3 freaking movies that no one liked.
Right.
It was so poorly.
He became kind of likable at the beginning of the 3rd movie, and you're like, oh, it's too late. Like,
Yeah,
you
too
can't-
too
like,
too
they're
late.
trying to course correct
Yeah.
hardcore, because episode 2,
Mm-hmm.
well, episode 2 needed to, I can get into the whole thing, but it's just like, if there was no kid Anakin, and he was just some Jedi that was an apprentice in the first movie,
Mm-hmm.
and Obi-Wan was his master, but they were having a ton of fun, and they were both super powerful, and everything was easy,
Yeah.
and it was adventure time. And then from there, it kind of, and then, he meets Padme, and it's like, oh, they actually have attraction that you believe.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, this corrupts everything.
Yeah.
Maybe the mom is just one too many layers, and it was just too convoluted. It was too much.
Yeah, it was way too much. That's a great idea. You want to rewrite it? Because, I mean, what's his name?
A lot of people have.
Yeah, yeah.
Go on YouTube.
Because Ewan's the right age right now. Ewan's the right age right now to be playing Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Master.
to then say in 20 years you could play Obi-Wan Kenobi again, So that would be amazing if that was the case, or just put Anakin as a Jedi already, who's there and he's great. He's a little reckless. So, and the thing is, that's the thing is, he needed the friendship. And I haven't watched Clone Wars. I haven't watched, Rebels or anything like that. So I don't know what the relationship is like between Anakin and Obi-Wan in those. I assume that it's better.
It's they're just written better. It's not that their relationship is better, but or different, but they're just fleshed out in a way that you go, okay, there's nuance.
See, that's the thing though, is that's a line. That's an easy line. It's a line in the movie where Obi-Wan says he was a good friend. So that's where you start the movie. That's where you start the relationship, is they're friends. This is Doc and Wyatt. It's not a master apprentice thing. It's just Doc and Wyatt out doing their thing in the Wild West, cutting it up. So that's what I would have expected.
You need to just see them and it's a case of show don't tell. And the prequels told and hardly ever shown.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was the biggie too, where
Yeah.
if it was you just got to see them go through adventures, and you go, oh, I see them bonding, and I'm bonding with them, and this is great.
Yeah.
And again, I think it starts wonderful, and then you bring in love that a Jedi shouldn't have, and they're going, you shouldn't have this love, and he's going, but it's already here, and I'm feeling it, and that perverts everything, because then he starts, and then he has premonitions, and you go, oh no, he thinks he's going to lose her, oh, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then it's a Greek tragedy, and then you go, great, it hits those notes.
Yeah.
But if you can establish them having the time of their lives and you loving that time,
Yeah.
then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. There's nothing to
Doesn't
crash.
matter.
Well, that's, the Tombstone Doc and Wyatt example is a great example, because that's what the whole thing was. They're out in the Wild West. They're living the time of their lives. They're just doing their thing, having a great time, making money hand over fist, but then duty calls or whatever and kind of ruins everything. And so there's a lot going on there that just, they just missed the mark so hardcore.
Yeah, and I think too that the Clone Wars should be heavy, but I think those two characters should be having too much fun during the Clone Wars. And they should be like, this is easy, this is awesome, we're smashing droids, there's no consequences, who cares?
Right.
And they both kind of get taken away by it. And they're like rock stars in that time. They should be rock stars.
Yeah.
And people should be like, oh my God, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi. We see you on the news. You're Anakin Skywalker. They should be like, no autographs.
Yeah. Right.
We're just here to do some business. No, they should be hot shit. And they should be sexy. And it should be awesome. And then when things turn, you're like, oh boy, here we go. I buy it. And it's terrible.
It's almost like Goodfellas or Casino. It's like, Pesci and De Niro having a good time. They're chopping it up. They're out there making all this money and building, they're doing this crazy stuff. And then Obi-Wan sleeps with Anakin's wife and everything goes to hell. That's the story that breaks it all down and turns it into this, crazy nonsense. But yeah, absolutely. But it was just, you're 100% right. George Lucas didn't know how to tell a story anymore. All he knew was how to tell you the story. And so he had his characters doing so much exposition that there was nothing happening. So when something did happen, you were like, what is happening? I don't know what, like, it didn't make any sense because suddenly,
You didn't feel anything.
yeah, even when there was action, there was still exposition. Oh, the droideka. Oh, the this. Oh, the that. Someone was always talking about what was happening rather than just letting
the
it.
wackiness, and you're like, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that Fury Road movie.
I
It's
didn't
like
see
an
it.
example of like just dump people. That's the Mad Max
Yeah,
return, and it's like you don't have to explain. If you show the world, people will get it.
mm-hmm.
And you look and you go, okay, I get what's happening here. This guy, the bad guy in Morton Joe, is trying to have a perfect normal kid. He keeps failing with his boudoir of endless women
Mm-hmm.
that he's sleeping with that are kind of okay genetically still post-nuclear war. But he keeps having like failed kids. So they become his war boys. They get painted up, they shave their heads, and they just go into battle and they die for him. It's like there's this whole mythology that's built up, but they don't talk about it.
Right.
They just show it. And you figure it out as you're watching. You're going, oh, for them, they have a religion. Or Morton Joe's like their Jesus guy. He's their savior or whatever. And they're going to go die for him. And you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this vast world where, like, yeah, the prequels are just telling you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting and talking, or standing and talking, and walking and talking, and there's some running, but not much.
Yeah, it's a car wreck of a show, of a movie.
And it's again, it's George Lucas didn't direct for decades.
Yeah.
And you can't just walk back into that and be okay.
You can't just walk. You can't even write it, right? You can't go back into writing it either. It's crazy.
And and he's at a different time. He's a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
He's disconnected.
Oh, for
He's
sure.
like,
yeah.
Like when he talks about his favorite Clone Wars episodes, they're like, I think Nico, we talked about it some week, and it's like talking about banking regulations. That's what George Lucas is interested in, because he has $1 bazillion.
Yeah.
He cares about the stock market. He doesn't care about Luke Skywalker. He doesn't get what that means anymore.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's so true, because it's when there's a big difference between writing something when you're poor and when you're in this collective and you're amongst all these other filmmakers and everyone's trying to break it in and make it. There's a difference between writing when you're that and writing like overlooking your own private lake. There's a big difference in how you write things. Yeah. You can manufacture the angst and you can manufacture it by doing other things, but he was literally sitting in his office on his in his like palace compound writing this. And so that's why you get palace compounds in every element of this series. Everything was bright and shiny and beautiful, and you could make the argument it's like, well, it's because it was before the Clone Wars, but still
I think that in and of itself is fine, right? Like, again, I think George Lucas was great at the big major shifts, and the designers, Doug Chiang and all these guys, even in Phantom Menace, going, okay, if Star Wars that we know was the 80s, then the prequels are going to be the 50s. It's going to be smooth lines and cool, thin cars and whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be colorful. It's going to be bright before this oppressive empire. And you go, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that.
And the big idea is great. Again, if George Lucas was only producing and throwing out the big ideas, you go, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But you need someone else who still is attached to reality saying, okay, how does this actually work? And what are we actually saying?
He wasn't saying anything. He was mansplaining the whole, he was mansplaining the Force to all of us. And we didn't like it.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is with the Jedi, I think he's saying that they were too dogmatic and wrong. But like people weren't ready to hear that, and
Right.
they didn't want to hear that Yoda was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so if you do that, you got to commit harder.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't commit hard enough. So people were like, are the Jedi wrong? Are
Yeah.
they just boring? Are they
Mhm.
dumb? What's happening? And
Yeah.
you're like, he literally put them in an ivory tower,
Right. Right. yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
but he still didn't hit it hard enough for us to want to believe that Yoda was being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yoda learns from it, and Yoda becomes who he becomes later.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's like, there's a Yoda arc that happens, but people went, no, that shouldn't happen because he's already like 700 years old
Right.
when this is starting. So why would he be dumb? And it's like,
Yeah.
he's saying he's dumb because there's been too much peace and they don't know. They
Don't know
got
how to
taken
fight.
advantage of.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, if you go your rock star route, like mucking it up, having a good time, you can do that with everybody. You can do that with Yoda. You can do it with everybody.
Yeah,
Where it's just
right.
like, that's why Yoda doesn't want to get involved. That's why Obi-Wan doesn't want to get involved. He's just like, no. We've done this. We've been there, done that. We've seen it all go to hell. Like, we're not getting back
So,
into it. You know,
right.
because that's the thing, is that they have this camaraderie later in like Empire, you know, when Yoda and Obi-Wan have their first interaction, you know, in Dagobah or whatever.
Right.
Or was it,
when it's
is it in
revealed
Empire or
to
was it?
Luke?
Yeah. Or is it
that
Empire or is it
Yoda
Jedi?
is Yoda.
Yeah. But either way, it's like you can tell that they have a kinship. And so that's
Was
an
I any
interesting
different
story.
when you first trained me?
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff. Yep.
Yeah. I think just these gunslinging, because when you think about Jedis like knights, every castle had its own knights. Every area had its own knights, and sometimes the knights fought each other.
Feudal,
Yeah,
right.
so it wasn't like there was an order, but it makes sense from where George Lucas is in his life, where he writes it like they're a boardroom. He writes it like they're the CEOs, you know, and they're the board of a publicly traded company. That's how he wrote them. Instead of writing them like the gunslinging knights, you know,
Yeah.
that they were originally, where, yeah, maybe they're the guardians of the galaxy, but they're also, you know, living high on the hog here. So it's like, that's kind of cool, you know.
They're giving government funding, all the government funding you could ever ask for.
Mm-hmm.
They have superpowers. And it's like, yeah, that even his impression of writing them, that's like, they get killed, but barely ever. Like,
Right.
this is an awesome life. Should it be hard? Sure, it should be hard. There's still a monk aspect to it. You're still giving up things, I guess. But yeah, that being said, you're not giving up that much because it's the only life you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think, again, where he wrote the potential is Anakin breaks from that, right? So all of these guys come up as Jedi from babies, so they know no other life, right? Where Anakin goes, oh no, I knew another life, and I'm different because of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's like he didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
You know?
It almost
Planted
feels
these
like it would be
seeds.
better to write them like more like knights and less like monks, where like they are living life and they're just like having a good time, and it's ladies, or Gundarks, whatever you're into. You know, you choose what you
man,
want.
you do
Yeah.
you.
You do you. Yeah. If you need a pit of Gundarks to get you off, like that's cool. But that's the cool, like they're cowboys, they're gunslingers, they're that. And so
because they're out there in the wilderness, they're wherever.
Yeah.
They're sent out on these long missions,
Fighting
prolonged
things
missions
off.
in the middle of
yeah.
nowhere. And
Yeah.
they have
Or
to use
maybe
their
even
wits.
they're just protecting their own communities. And so, you know, maybe like you've got them on all these different planets and they're protecting their communities. So when the Clone Wars happens in a completely different way than it happens in the trilogy, suddenly they all kind of have to come together and fight together against this common enemy, you know, sort of thing. And so that's where a guy like Anakin discovers like, oh, I didn't realize like I'm way stronger than all these other people. The other guy that I'm not probably stronger than is Obi-Wan, but we're kind of like the toughest of everybody. We're in charge now. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we got some issues on our hands. So
Well, or even I think he can be the student with his master, but then something happens where he goes, "Oh, maybe I have surpassed my master."
Mhm.
And I think that can happen, and I
Yeah.
think that probably should happen in that trilogy.
yeah,
And then he starts thinking, instead of when he's just telling Padme as like a whiny teenager, "I'm past him in a lot of ways."
right.
Like,
yeah,
God, you're the worst, huh?
yeah. I even kind of dig the idea if he was, if he and Anakin, or if he and Obi-Wan were being, were trained by Yoda. There's that thing too, which is interesting
Right.
too, because then you've got even more reason for Obi-Wan and for Yoda to be reluctant, to train Luke, because they're just like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh, we screwed up
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, we grabbed that crazy potential in the past and we blew it.
and then Luke not wanting to train later because of that same, so there's a lot of reasons for that to be a nice little through line. Thanks for ruining it all, George. Yeah, dick. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I still at work by myself.
Yeah.
I do Donald voice.
Yeah. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You keep doing it.
You do
Because
you.
the day
You do you, boo.
the day you don't is the day the Emperor has already won.
It's the day you die.
Right? So keep it up. It's important.
Can I make my last words Donald Duck voice? Do I have the strength if I'm around people and they're like, I'm slipping away and I go, what's the last thing I can say?
Yeah. If you can say
Could I do it?
whatever,
Have
dude,
the strength.
in Donald Duck just before you die. That'd be amazing.
I kind of want to commit to this.
Yeah. Okay, I'll remind you in like 80 years or whenever this
In like
happens.
7 years.
Yeah. It's rough out there in Boston.
Oh, it's rough out here
Yeah.
for a gunslinging Jedi.
Yeah. I want that can be also in your Bumble bio. I want my last words to be in Donald Duck voice. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, because I have to end everything in dude.
Yeah.
So, for some reason, I've never heard Donald Duck say dude at the end of a sentence, but
It was like a mashup between the little kid in Full House and Donald Duck. It was Mary-Kate Olsen and
the Olsens.
Yeah, the Olsen twins plus Donald Duck. Dead. What did Uncle Eric say? He said, "Whatever, dude."
Said, you got it. Whatever, dude. Which is, we won't get into it, but we're going to put it on his tombstone because that's his will.
And he wants to be buried in a blue sailor costume? All right. Sounds good. We'll do it with no pants.
And all the words have to be dildos reshaped into words. Into
He wants to be sitting on a gonzo puppet. We don't know why.
Oh, I know why.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can guess.
I'll interpret your will for your family. It'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
He is a daredevil after all.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for listening so much to the Smoking Hot Nerds podcast. Just two nerds to two moderately well-groomed douche nozzles. That's the new podcast name.
Yeah,
if it's ever
we are the douche nozzles.
if ever it's just the two of us again, I'll create a new logo. The moderately well-groomed douche nozzle podcast. I think that sounds good.
The only time I shave is before this podcast.
Really? Oh, that's nice.
That's when I shave once a week.
What do you shave? Where?
Everywhere.
You shave under your Donald Duck.
That's why I barely show up on time.
Yeah, you're shaving. That's nice. You don't have to. You really don't. If you don't want to.
My taint needs it.
If it be my gobble monster needs it.
Mitch McConnell likes my giblets clean shaven.
It's like it's how you like his gobbler, so you better like make sure you guys are given and taken.
I mean,
It's
we
important.
got to make the Mitch happy.
Yeah, the Mitch is more important. It is snowing like a mofo out there right now.
Boy,
yeah, it's really coming down.
magical, but
I
not
wonder if you
when
can
it's
see it.
April. Ugh,
Yeah,
April snow.
can you
Yeah.
see it? Oh yeah, look at that. You can tell.
Yeah, it is.
That
I
is
think
some
it's
snow.
snowing here in the western Massachusetts. I think it's snowing
Really?
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't doubt
We're
it.
getting rain here.
I'd rather have rain. Whoa.
Yeah, I would too.
Look, you can see
I'll-
my
I'll
olive
take rain.
oil. My olive oil and my salt
Oh.
that I use for salads. I love how it breaks down to just gibberish, to nonsensical gibberish.
Just like we've always done.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for Sarah for commenting, and for watching for as long as you guys
And
did.
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
Also,
you.
sorry for most of all the things, but we tried our best, and I think we did okay. So, find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe there. We've got 5 of audience size of about 5 people according to Anchor, our podcast provider. So who knows? Let's make it 6 this week, folks. Let's make
Yeah.
it 6. So we'll see you all next week. We're excited. We think we might be able to do Justice League next week. We'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting.
Maybe.
No other disasters befall us.
I feel like it's our turn.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. No, let's not do that. But if the other 2 can't make it, you know what? The Moderately Well-Groomed Douche Nozzle podcast will be ready to go.
We will be here.
Here we go. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll see you